Hello viewers and my dear students, I welcome you all. Today topic of discussion is carcinoma of esophagus. Carcinoma of esophagus. As we all know, esophagus is a food pipe so the food contents then enter into the stomach from the esophagus. So the carcinoma of esophagus occur. Cancer is a malignant condition. There is out of control growth of the cells, and benign is not dangerous, but malignant is very dangerous because of the metastasis. So these cells get metastasis to distant and surrounding important structures. So carcinoma of esophagus. So here first I would like to talk about the causes. So the causes are, first there is precancerous causes. Or precancerous reasons. So the diseases which are at high risk and can cause carcinoma of esophagus are reflux esophagitis, with Barrett esophagus. So reflux esophagitis is a condition where inflammation of the esophagus occurs, and because there is backflow of the acid from stomach into the esophagus, that irritates and inflames the mucosa and causes ulceration. So this is the reflux esophagitis. And Barrett's esophagus is a condition where more than 3 cm of columnar epithelium is present above the cardioesophageal junction. Then second condition is achalasia cardia. Then Plummer-Vinson can also cause Plummer-Vinson syndrome can also cause carcinoma of esophagus. Then corrosive strictures can also lead to carcinoma of esophagus. These are the precancerous causes: corrosive strictures, achalasia cardia, Plummer-Vinson syndrome, reflux esophagitis with Barrett's esophagus. These are the precancerous condition. To understand better, just go to my previous video where I have mentioned all the diseases in detail. Then there are other etiological factors. That other etiological factors are smoking. So if patient is doing regularly smoking and chewing tobacco, then spicy food, spicy meals, then stress, anxieties, worry, and alcohol. So these are the other etiological factors. Then beside this, there could be the fungal contamination of the food with mycotoxins. So fungal contamination of the food with mycotoxin can also cause cancer of the esophagus. Besides this, the nutritional deficiencies can also cause carcinoma of esophagus. Then the location, the site, is 3 sites basically where the carcinoma of esophagus occurs. The commonest is middle. First I will start in the sequence way. So the site is 1/3 of upper esophagus, then 1/3 of middle esophagus, and 1/3 of lower esophagus. So 3 sides in esophagus get affected. 1/3 of upper, 1/3 of middle, and 1/3 of lower. Now the most common is the middle one. It is 50%. So 50% of cases are reported till now. Then next to it is lower. It is 33%. So 33% cases of lower 1/3 of esophagus cancers are reported. Then lowest is the upper 1/3 of the esophagus, that is reported till now. 17% of cases are till now reported in the surveys. So these are the sites. Now etiopathogenesis. So just remember some points. In etiopathogenesis, there is ulcer formation. The ulcers which are occur, that are epitheliomatous, epitheliomatous ulcers. So these ulcers are epitheliomatous ulcer. The type of cancer is squamous cell carcinoma. So squamous cell carcinoma occurs. The type is squamous cell carcinoma, and epitheliomatous ulcers occur which have flat base and raised edges. So like this, raised edges with flat base. Also there is proliferative growth. So that proliferative growth is like cauliflower-like, and it bleeds. This growth is usually with the surface ulcer. And very important, there is polypoid lesions. So formation of polypoid lesions also occur. So in etiopathogenesis, just remember few points. There is formation of epitheliomatous ulcers with flat base and raised edges, and there is cauliflower-like proliferative growth which bleeds, and this growth is with the surface ulcer. The type of cancer is squamous cell carcinoma. There is polypoid lesions formation, and that leads further to the fibrosis, and this will lead to the narrow lumen. So fibrosis will cause contraction and narrowing of the lumen of the esophagus. So this is the etiopathogenesis. Now how does this spread occurs? The mode of spread. The mode of spread is by 3 ways. So the first phase is by local spread. So in local spread, first the mucosa is involved. So there will be involvement of mucosa, and laterwards submucosa get involved. So ulcerations will occur in mucosa, and laterwards the submucosa will get also involved. Then the spread is longitudinal and transversely. So the spread will occur longitudinally and transversely. Also the fibrosis will cause the narrowing of the lumen of the esophagus. So fibrosis will also occur. Now slowly as the cancer will spread into the whole esophagus, then trachea can get involved. So if trachea gets involved, so that will cause, so if there is cancer of the 1/3 of upper esophagus and trachea gets involved, 1/3 upper esophagus with trachea involvement, so that will cause tracheoesophageal fistula. So if trachea gets involved with the carcinoma of 1/3 of upper esophagus, that will cause tracheoesophageal fistula. If the middle one third of esophagus is involved with the bronchus, so that will cause bronchoesophageofistula. So if the middle 1/3 of esophagus gets the cancer, along with if bronchus get involved, so that can lead to the bronchoesophagofistula. And when trachea is involved with the upper 1/3 esophagus, then that will lead to the tracheoesophagofistula. Then there could be esophago-aortic fistula. This is very dangerous as this will lead to the massive bleeding, and the condition is very dangerous that can lead to even death. So esophago-aortic fistula leads to massive bleeding. So this was the local spread, how the cancerous cells infiltrate into the surrounding structures and how it spreads to the vital organs and structures. Second is lymphatic spread through the lymph nodes. Then third way is through the blood. So why the blood? It will affect the liver. So liver will get enlarged and nodular. So liver will get enlarged and nodular because of the secondaries in liver. So there will be secondaries in liver, and ascites will occur. Also there will be rectovesical deposits. In later stage, when the pathology will advance, that will lead to the palpable supraclavicular nodes of left side. So left-sided supraclavicular nodes will be palpable. This is known as Trozier sign. So in advanced pathology, when the supraclavicular nodes, remember left-sided supraclavicular lymph nodes are palpable, this sign is Trozier sign. So this indicates that disease has now advanced. So we have taken the mode of spread via the local spread, that how the spread will occur transversely and longitudinally, and slowly the trachea gets involved, bronchus get involved, then via the lymphatic spread through the lymph nodes, via the blood that will affect the liver will become enlarged and nodular, and there will be ascites and rectovesical deposits. Now this carcinoma of esophagus, here the disease will progress in so speed and in aggressive way. Why? Why the speed is so much and why it is so aggressive? Spread is so aggressive because of three reasons. First, this is lack of serosal layer. Lack of serosal layer. So there is lack of serosal layer and proximity of vital structures. Proximity of vital structures. Also, because the drainage is, there is mediastinal lymphatic drainage. So these three reasons cause very aggressive spread of the cancer in the esophagus. Now, clinical features or the symptoms. So firstly, just remember it is most commonly affects the man, and that too above the age of 60. So men get affected above the age of 60. Then dysphagia. Dysphagia mainly for solids. So solids are very difficult to swallow. Then regurgitation of food. Regurgitation of food. Then streaks of blood in vomit, that is hematemesis. Hematemesis. Streaks of blood in vomit. Then melena, that is black stool because of blood but not fresh blood. Then cachexia. Cachexia is when there is nutritional deficiency, there is malabsorption and malnutrition because patient is not able to swallow, there is dysphagia. Then loss of weight, anemia, low hemoglobin. Then very important point is backache. Why backache? Because of the involvement of lymph nodes. So celiac lymph nodes are enlarged. So in clinical features, just remember that it usually affects the man above the age of 60 years. There is dysphagia, mostly or commonly for solid. There is regurgitation of food. There is cachexia, loss of weight, anemia, then nutritional deficiency. So there could be hyponatremia, hypokalemia. Then anemia can also cause constipation and also body ache, malaise. Then there is loss of interest in food, that is anorexia, and there is weight loss. Backache is very important feature because there is involvement of celiac nodes.